Dealing with a toxic ex is complicated. Having a kid with someone who's unhealthy for you takes the complications to an entirely new level. We see this with the dynamics of DaBaby and DaniLeigh's current relationship. Based on what we witnessed, it's clear that the two of them have a tough road ahead when it comes to co-parenting and being two mature and responsible adults. This video is in no means to criticize them, but I will be sharing 3 proven ways to co-parent with a toxic ex if you're currently facing the dilemma or find yourself in a similar situation in the future. Tip number 1 is to establish clear and concrete boundaries. I understand that everyone's relationship is not the same, but in order to have a greater chance of normalcy and healthiness, the boundaries must be clearly defined. We do not know the details of DaniLeigh's relationship with DaBaby, but we do know that they were currently living together. With a newborn child and having to navigate the toxicity of the relationship, it was evident that the boundaries in the relationship were not clear. Then again, the boundaries may have been established by DaniLeigh, whereas DaBaby did not want to play by the rules. If you're currently faced with a similar situation, I pray that you learn from what has taken place in their relationship so that you are not faced with any additional unnecessary drama. You must also establish clear boundaries when the two of you are still living together, such as with DaniLeigh and DaBaby. On the video, we see that they are living together during this time. DaniLeigh says that she moved in with him prior to having their child. It's safe to say that marriage was nowhere in the picture and that they were just aimlessly living with no specific plan of action. Again, we do not know the full details of the relationship, but I do know that the unhealthy nature of the relationship is a determining factor into what has taken place. Another important tip is to immediately file a court order if you currently do not have one. This is extremely important. I know that your emotions are running wild and that you are dealing with a lot, but being proactive with protecting yourself and your kid is critical. I do not know if DaniLeigh or DaBaby have filed a court order, but it's best that the two of them waste no time in doing so. Updates have surfaced and it looks like DaBaby did contact authorities, resulting in her being served with a criminal summons for simple assault during the altercations that took place at his house. My thought is that this is the beginning of a long road ahead, not only because of the nature of the relationship, but also because of their daughter that's unfortunately stuck in the middle of this chaos. It's important that you take the time to plan out what you want and what's best for the kid. Unfortunately, many parents allow their feelings and emotions to override common sense, not realizing that the kid will end up suffering the most from the heartache and pain. Each state is different, so you must research your particular state's co-parenting plan and make sure it's in the best interest of the child. Some questions that must be agreed upon with you and your ex are things like, how will the children be exchanged on designated drop-off and pickup dates? What happens if someone is running late? Who can be around the kid when they're not in your presence? And the list goes on and on. Unfortunately, when dealing with a toxic ex, you never know what may come about. So whatever you can do to ensure all T's have been crossed and all I's are dotted is the best way to approach the situation. My prayer is that DaniLeigh and DaBaby come to a peaceful and productive resolution for their sake, and most importantly, for the well-being and safety of their daughter. Another important tip is to maintain a level of calmness and professionalism with dealing with a toxic ex and co-parenting. I know that this is easier said than done, and we've seen the unfortunate ramifications of how not keeping your cool can cause additional legal issues in the case of DaniLeigh and DaBaby. Add on top of that any postpartum depression that may be going on with DaniLeigh, and this could be a recipe for disaster. No matter what the situation is or turns into, you must refrain from referring to the other person in a derogatory manner. All forms of profanity and slander must be put to the side for the betterment of co-parenting. We all witnessed DaBaby referring to the mother of his child as a side B, and although this very well may be the case, it's never good to voice those thoughts in the middle of a heated argument. It will never end well. It may be tempting to talk badly about the other parent, but I encourage you to save your anger for the listening pleasure of a good friend, family member, or life coach like myself. Having been in an unhealthy relationship where the other person knows your darkest secrets can definitely surface once the relationship ends. That's why you must keep your cool and stay professional as possible in those trying times. Nothing productive comes from two individuals yelling and screaming at each other. It appeared to me that DaBaby wanted to provoke DaniLeigh to respond in anger, frustration, and anxiety. Unfortunately, it worked based on the video and article. I pray that the two of them would come to a healthy resolution for themselves and especially for the child that's involved. I also encourage each and every one of you who may be dealing with a similar situation to find better solutions to co-parenting. I'm available if you'd like to set up a free 1-hour breakthrough session. Email me right now at lifecoachjscott@gmail.com. So let me know what you think of this toxic situation with DaniLeigh and DaBaby in the comments below. Thanks again, be safe, and I'll see you on the next video.